Is a very important topic under microbiology, that is the gram-positive and gram-negative bacteria. So the gram staining in bacteria was actually found by a scientist whose name was Christian Gram, and in 1884 he developed a technique of staining the bacterial cell which is called as gram staining, and it is done by using the chemical crystal violet and the iodine solution. First of all the bacteria are fixed on the slide and then the crystal violet solution is applied. Almost all bacterial cells become deep violet, or you can say purple color, and again the bacterial cell is treated with the potassium iodide, which acts as a moderant to fix the dye, and then it is followed by the wash with absolute alcohol or decolorizer or acetone. And the real thing is that after the outcome of this alcohol or the acetone when applied, it determines the classification whether the bacteria we are taking is a positive or negative bacteria. If the bacteria have a thick cell wall that traps the dye and retains the blue color even after the wash with alcohol or acetone, then we can determine that we are working with the gram-positive bacteria. And in the same case, if the absolute alcohol, that is a decolorizer, completely cause the losing of the stain color, that is it becomes colorless, they do not retain the color, then we can determine that we are playing with gram-negative bacteria. So this is the case, and in case of gram-negative bacteria, it can be stained with the safranin and they retain red color. So for a soft summary, you can see the chart here. When the bacteria is first of all treated by the crystal violet gram stain, it turns all the stain color in the blue stained cells are seen, or the purple stains are seen. And again, if it's treated with the potassium iodide and absolute alcohol or the acetone, then there will be the retention of the blue color if it is a positive bacteria, and there will be colorless, that is there is no retention of color if the bacteria is negative. So a common difference between the positive and the negative bacteria is here, that is the cell wall is thick and homogeneous in case of positive bacteria, while in the negative bacteria it is comparatively thin and heterogeneous. Talking about staining, as we know that they retain the deep purple or blue color with the crystal violet, and subsequently when it is treated with the potassium iodide and the absolute alcohol or the acetone, and in case of the negative bacteria it lost, subsequent the color is lost and it becomes colorless, and when it is stained with safranin they give us the red color. And in content with the cell wall, that is the cell wall is made up of peptidoglycan, the constituent is different, that is 70% peptidoglycan is present in the cell wall of positive bacteria, while 30% that is quite low in negative bacteria. Likewise, in case of the positive bacteria, they are generally susceptible to the lysosomes or the antibiotics, and in case of negative bacteria, they are generally resistant to the lysozymes or the antibiotics. It is due to the presence of the lipid-rich layer, as peptidoglycan content is low. And in case of positive bacteria, they do not bear the fimbriae or the sex villi, and that's just opposite in case of negative bacteria, that is they are generally they bear villi or the fimbriae. And in the gram-positive bacteria, the cell membrane gives infolding and gets folded in the cytoplasm of the cell that forms the mesosome. And in case of gram-negative bacteria, the mesosomes are absent. So this was for today. Thanks for watching. And if you want me to explain all the topics that you are in need of, then you can just comment down below. Have a good day. Good night.